in my 20s when I had a friend at the time who was friends with Jay-Z's family. And like I would hang out with her and she's like, oh yeah, we're hanging out with Michelle, Jay-Z's sister. And like, oh, we ended up at 40/40 and I met Beyonce in a casual, one of the private rooms.
Did you touch?
We did shots together. Yep. And Jay-Z's nephew was DJing, so we all went downstairs.
Wow.
Yeah. And here I am in my 20s, just like, and then my friend said to me, you're so cool. I'm glad you know how to hang. You didn't even try to take your phone out.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah. Luckily, I was trained because I was working at NBC at the time and there was a different celebrity every single day. And my desk was right across from the Roots dressing room. Like one of the members of the Roots would like fist pump me as he walked by. I'd see Al Roker. It felt just like this like fever dream of celebrity all the time. So I was kind of used to it. Anyway, that happens. But anyway, that's when around that era, I learned you're either a friend or a fan. So if you genuinely think you connect with somebody, you want to be their friend, you can't come up to them gushing and you want to take a selfie and stuff like that. So
yeah,
you already ruined it. It's like, oh, you're just one of the fans. You can never be in our circle because you're a fan, which means I can't trust you because you're so excited to know me that my business is going to be out there. You're going to send screenshots of our conversations to people and blah, blah, blah. So it's already like, it makes me put a wall up. And I'm not a celebrity by any means, but like, I can tell when people think I'm cool because I've done commercials or this and that. And they're like,
all of a sudden something switches in them and they're just like,
and I'm like, this doesn't feel authentic or genuine at all. I'm gonna just keep that over there. But nice to meet you, you know.
So you asked me actually, I think you asked if I unfollow people that I don't vibe with anymore or do I just mute them? And I have been guilty of both because I am such a non-confrontational person. But also sometimes I don't even think, like, you know, when people unfollow you on social media, maybe you knew them, maybe you didn't, but they feel the need to announce it because you post something that they didn't like and they don't agree. And it's like, it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Just leave. Like sometimes I just think it's not that deep, you know? It's like, listen, we naturally have shifted in priorities and in the directions that our lives went. All friendships can't sustain that kind of change. And it just kind of was a natural drop off. So sometimes, yes, I am avoiding a conversation because I am not confrontational. I do think that if it's a friendship you really care about and you can tell that something is happening, then maybe it is worth addressing. But I tend to just let things like, well, if it fizzled, it fizzled. Like, they're not reaching out. I'm not reaching out. I don't feel any ill will. I literally don't have the bandwidth to. And I just kind of let bygones be bygones.
Yeah. Most of my friendship endings are natural fizzles. It's like hometown people or, you know, college people or NYC people who I met in my early 20s and we just went in different ways and just like, there's no malice. There's nothing negative. You just grow apart and you're like, wait, I haven't heard from so-and-so in 2 years.
That's kind of like a part of growth that I think is natural, but a little bit isolating, and we don't really talk about it enough. Like, as you grow, everybody's, you know, not going to grow with you, but like, you are going to lose friends. You are going to just change your priorities and your interests. And it's so completely normal. And even though it's a sign of a positive thing, growth is positive, it doesn't always feel worth celebrating because you're like, what, the reward is my friend group is shrinking? But it's like, kinda.
Yeah, because some people are around just because of circumstance and whatever, but not because you actually are compatible. And once you learn more about yourself and you grow, you're like, oh, we don't gel. Yeah. And that's fine. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing. I remember there was a really sad situation. This girl, she's also an actor. She came over one day. We're not close friends, but you know, it's an acquaintance and she's cool. If I saw her on the street, I'd hug her, be like, hey, how are you? We follow each other on Instagram, like one of those, but like not a bestie at all. But I remember she was telling me how she was distraught because I guess one of her best friends didn't invite her somewhere, or she felt left out and ostracized. And so she had that moment of like, oh my gosh, she's my best friend, but I'm not her best friend.
Oh.
And and this woman was in her late 30s. So she was like devastated that like, why wasn't I included? Like, oh. And I think that happens a lot with bridal parties.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the person who's like, oh, I'm definitely going to be the maid of honor, or I'm definitely going to do this. And they're like, oh yeah, no, my cousin, my maid of honor, or my sister going to do that. And it's like, but I thought we were best friends. Like, I'm like, oh, that's cringe. So I think there's an article on The Cut about that too.
You know what? I think so, because it is sounding vaguely familiar. I was like, I couldn't remember if you told me the story before, but yes.
Yeah, like I'm not my best friend's best friend, something like that. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cringe. I think all my friends, when my circle is so small, everyone is a best friend.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's not like, I don't know, I don't have hierarchies of friends, but I'm like, if I'm friends with you for multiple years, you know everything about my life, I know everything about your life, I hold you in high regard, I don't know. I don't know how you categorize people. Because even like my sister's technically one of my best friends.
Yeah.
We're the same age group.
I've come to realize that as an adult too. I'm like, my sisters are definitely my best friends.
Right. And it's like, oh, no, it can't be because that's my sister. Like, no, just because we're blood related. That's actually the best friend to have because you understand my childhood.
Yes.
So you're literally a bestie.
Yes.
My brother's not a best friend because he's not in the close circle.
Okay.
My sister and I talk almost every day.
Would he be hurt by that?
No, I don't even. He's literally getting married in a week, and I don't know any of his groomsmen.
Okay.
Like, we're not close like that.
And then you're not close enough with your future sister-in-law. Like, you guys aren't part of the bridal party?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's nothing negative.
Yeah. But
it would be such a lie to be like, my brother's my best friend and his wife is my best friend. No, my sister is one of my best friends. You know?
So let me ask you, is there a friendship that ended recently that was worth addressing, that didn't just fizzle naturally?
You know good and well the answer to that. You know it's the girl who introduced us to each other. And I asserted a boundary and she was offended by it. And we never spoke again. And after about 6 months of her not saying anything to me, I unfollowed her and I removed her from our show account on TikTok, which you don't know about, but I didn't want to see her face or her videos no more.
Where do we go from here, Faiven?
You can say whatever you want.
I have no response to that. I can't even look into the camera.
I read somewhere once that a good relationship can be tested by rupture and repair. Have we spoken about this?
I don't think so, but keep going. Is it from a book?
I don't remember. I get my sources from like podcasts, books, all these things. So rupture and repair is the theory where when there's an issue, even think about like fighting with your husband. And it's like when you find a resolution, you grow closer because you understand each other better and you know where.
Me and you have survived several fights.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there was a rupture, but much like you were telling a story before of how like when you and Joe got in a fight in your early days of dating, you're like, well, we're broken up.
That's it.
Pack up and leave. It's like, no. We can talk about the conflict and then move on from it. So that's rupture and repair. And kind of like muscles, when you lift, you tear your muscle fibers, you eat a bunch of protein and it builds back stronger and better. So it's the same thing, rupture and repair.
See, we survived my midnight arrivals, the homemade garlic sauce, me in my feelings about my daddy, and you joking too soon. Those are 3 ruptures and repairs.
You made a joke about my dating life when I was sensitive. And then...
Was that when I said that you and the guy looked alike?
No, I think it was the fedora.
Oh, we'll add that one. So that's 5.
Yeah. And then
we repaired though. That's 5 repairs.
Hi, Alex. I apologize for saying what I had said. This is what had happened.
You're like,
But I'm very impressed. I don't think I have that rupture and repair history with anybody else because I'm just like, all right, well.
So that's, I think that our mutual friend who the friendship ended with me and her, I think that was the second rupture. Remember?
Yes, because I tried to mediate the first one.
And I just decided to get over it the first time. And then like we were friends again for several years, but there was always something missing. We weren't actually, it was one-sided when it came to sharing and relationships and vulnerability. So it feels uncomfortable when you're like emotionally naked with someone and they absorb all your information and they don't share back. It didn't feel reciprocal. Scheduling stuff, being really flaky, like just rudeness. And so this second major one where it was about scheduling and whatever, flakiness, same thing really. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to be included in this next thing because I already blocked off these days. Like I was supposed to be working, like so money's coming out of my pocket because I'm trying to support you as a friend, and you just dismiss it and you're like, actually, I'm going to change the date. How about this? And I'm like, respectfully, I don't want to be included in this next event because I already took these 2 days off, told all my agents, told all my events, hey, I'm not available these days, and you just blew it off. Maybe that's too much information, maybe not, but I'm just saying, like, I treat people how I want to be treated, and I'm not flaky, and I show up for my friends, and I carve out the time, and to not get that back is sad. And I think what really put the nail in the coffin was that her response wasn't gracious or taking accountability at all. It was essentially, I hear you. Like, no, it was kind of gaslighting. It hurts me that you don't want to be included in the next thing, but I hear you. So it's like, okay, so you just disregard my feelings because of your pattern of behavior that's not good. And you're like, now my feelings are hurt because your feelings are hurt. And that was the last thing that was ever written.
How would you say that you're over that? And how long did that take?
I think I'm over it now. Yeah, that happened last year. It took a couple months because it was sad. I'm like, I've known you for so many years. But like, if you actually do an audit of some friendships, you're like, I don't know. I don't think we're like actually friends. I think we're just people who know each other.